You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
It is Monday, February the 10th of 2025. Chilly start here in north central Wisconsin at our downtown Wausau studios. Some blue skies out there, a little bit of sunshine. Temperature of 3 degrees above zero with a wind chill of 9 below. It is the Monday edition of the Chad Holmes Show on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO and on the Civic Media app. You can also catch us by going to our 98.9 WXCO YouTube channel. Again, make sure that you go to the 98.9 WXCO page, not the Civic Media page. If you go to the Civic Media YouTube channel, you'll get Earl Ingram right now. But we have our own 98.9 WXCO channel, so you can catch our video right there. Coming up this morning, apparently Brittany Merlot thinks because it's the day after the Super Bowl, can take a holiday. She has taken the day off, so she will not be with us at 8:21. Taking the day off. She'll be back with us tomorrow. Coming up in the second hour of the show, we'll be joined by Civic Media Sports Director Jimmy Kuska. We'll talk about the Super Bowl, talk about what's going on in sports, talk about last week's WIAA Board of Control meeting that changed qualification and seeding for the high school football playoffs and a whole bunch more with Jimmy Kuska coming up at 9:21 this morning here on the program. And, of course, at the end of the show, we'll have our daily history lesson, and we'll start a new week with our number for the day quiz with Ian Welsh. Try to get you back on the winning track. Mm-hmm. Tough week last week. Great week 2 weeks ago. Never know what you're going to get.
Never know.
Like Forrest Gump said, you just don't know.
That's exactly right.
But we'll look forward to that coming up at the end of the show as well. There's our in-studio engineer, producer, Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
How was the weekend?
Well, Saturday was definitely interesting, especially because of the weather. I think we got more snow than they had predicted because my mom was looking at our driveway in the morning, and I think at towards the evening on a Saturday, I think we got pretty close to a foot of snow.
I don't know if we got that much, but
that's definitely what it felt like by our house. I'm not sure if that's actually what we got, but shoveling it was not very fun. Well,
you're actually closer to the right than I thought. The snowfall totals, according to WSAW, on Friday night to Saturday evening, for Wausau, 9.7 inches.
Whew.
Well, that's pretty close to a foot.
That's a lot.
Iola got 10.5 inches. Athens got 10 inches. Wittenberg, 9.5 inches. Marshfield, 6.5 inches. Minocqua 5.5 inches, and Plover 5.4 inches.
The nice thing was it wasn't a heavy snow, so it was easy to move.
Yes, it was. So, and now we do have actually a significant amount of snow on the ground here in the Wausau area. So,
Yes, we do.
and yesterday was a clear day. Yesterday, so anybody who had an opportunity to go off and go to a Super Bowl party didn't have to worry about that. But did you have a party, or did you just stay home and watch the game?
We had a party at home. Just had my mom had made some delicious Super Bowl food. We got to watch the game, watch the commercials as well. But she made like a pigs in a blanket, and there was these meatballs and the chili sauce. Awesome. We had popcorn and nachos, and just keeping it simple but a good food. It was nice to actually be at home and watch the game instead of having to go out somewhere, because it probably would have been pretty busy anywhere we went. But just overall, the Eagles surprised me very much, because I was not expecting them to do that well, and they absolutely floored the Chiefs. And I was keeping a track of the commercials as well, and I gotta say,
well, we're going to talk about the commercials a little bit later on, so don't spoil.
when we talk about them later, I definitely have some things to say.
But the game itself, I mean, it was pretty much over very quickly. I mean,
I think it was over by the third quarter.
The way the game was going in the first half, Kansas City just not able to get anything going, and Patrick Mahomes throwing a couple of really bad picks. That pick six really, I thought, put Philadelphia at a point of 17-0 lead. It did not feel like at that point that the Chief offense had any answers for the Philadelphia defense. It was outstanding. I think the most valuable person in that game was the defensive coordinator for Philadelphia, Vic Fangio. He had the number of the Kansas City offense. They put a lot of pressure on. Did not have to blitz. They just put on the four defensive linemen who were able to break in there, get Patrick Mahomes off his rhythm, and just really make Patrick Mahomes, who is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, look very, very average, and actually less than average. And even though the game was not what you call a nail-biter, it's not about that. I don't think on a Super Sunday. People want a great game, but it's more about just hanging out, friends and family, enjoying the food, enjoying the commercials, and that's the way it was. I went to a little get-together with some friends and had good food, had good conversation, had fun, and the game was kind of there.
Just playing in the background, right?
Well, I mean, we're watching it, but at the same time, if it's a blowout, it does not necessarily ruin the environment. It does not ruin the party. Sure. And I think that's, again, what people are looking for. And I think be interesting to see. There was some talk before the game that there could be a record audience for this game. I think last year was the record, and people just love watching football. People love watching the NFL, and we'll see whether or not they set a record yesterday when the ratings come out.
There was definitely quite a few celebrities at the stadium itself. I mean, Anne Hathaway was there, Kevin Costner was there, Pete Davidson. I even saw Taylor Swift there.
Well, she's at most of the Chiefs games because Travis Kelce, the boyfriend, and not a great day for Taylor. In fact, I saw a story yesterday during the game that Taylor was a little shocked because when they put her face on the scoreboard, they had a shot of her on the scoreboard at the Superdome. The Eagle fans booed, and it surprised her.
Oh, ouch. Well, I mean, fans of the Super Bowl are very passionate, and I think my dad was also surprised there was... Well, no, actually, my mom was surprised that there was quite a bit of booing as well. Oh, because
Philadelphia fans not known for being the nicest group.
Yeah. At least they're passionate, I guess.
That is one thing they are. And I did not check the news because they were getting ready to make sure that things did not get out of hand in Philadelphia after the game if they'd won, because I'd heard that they had put a lot of precautions into place. But they did take to the streets. There was some chaos. I don't know whether or not there was any kind of issue.
Well, I'm glad that they were, ready just in case, because
there were several light poles that were torn down during the celebration. They had greased the poles beforehand. They were ready for it, actually. Authorities had put some grease on there to try to save the poles, but several poles were torn from the ground.
Jeez.
At least 5 traffic light poles, along with a spotlight, were torn to the ground by fans. Following the chaos, the poles were left lined across sidewalks and streets, some near historic sculptures. Videos circulating on social media show groups of fans pulling the poles from the ground and carrying them through the streets. But, frankly, I was expecting worse. So they actually were ready. Police were out there trying to keep things under control as much as possible, but everybody went out there and celebrated.
Yep, everybody celebrates in their own way.
Time is 8:18. We're going to take a look at the weather. No, Brittany's not here, but we're still going to let you know what to expect weather-wise here this week. Coming up in the second hour, Civic Media Sports Director Jimmy Kuska. Right now, 3 degrees above zero. A little bit of sun out there. Calm start to our new work week. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. You can join us by calling or texting us, 715-382-9297. Again, that's 715-382-9297. Any thoughts, any comments you want to put on board here for this morning, you can do that. 715-382-9297. Normally at this time, we get an opportunity to speak to our meteorologist, Brittany Merloa, but she must have had a great party last night, taking today off. She will be back with us coming up tomorrow. But for today, pretty quiet day. There will be increasing clouds and chilly. A chilly start to our new work week. High only around 16 degrees. West winds 6 to 10 miles per hour. Gusting as high as 18 miles per hour. Tonight, there is a chance of flurries during the evening, basically before 9 p.m. Then a slight chance of snow before midnight. Cloudy, then gradual clearing, a low of 7 below zero. Wind chill factors between 10 and 15 below. Tuesday, sunny, even colder than today. Temperatures in the single digits tomorrow, just around 8 degrees. And then on Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a 40% chance of snow in the afternoon, and a high near 14 degrees. And then stays chilly. Thursday, sunny skies and 12. Right now in downtown Wausau, at our studios at the corner of Washington Street and North 3rd Street in downtown Wausau. Fair skies, 3 degrees above zero. Winds out of the west at 7 miles per hour. Wind chill factor of 9 below zero. Dew point of 2 below. Relative humidity of 79%. Barometer at 30.41 inches. Visibility of 10 miles. 8:24 is the time. Little bit of history made yesterday at the Super Bowl. The first ever sitting president to appear at a Super Bowl, Donald Trump. Do you know how much money in security, Secret Service, and the like it cost to put Donald Trump at the Super Bowl in the Superdome yesterday? Guess how much? How much it cost?
How much money did it cost to have a security for him?
Yeah, how much did it cost to have him at the game?
Okay. Wow, this is definitely a big number, but I'm gonna say probably $4 million.
I wish it was between $15 and $20 million for Donald Trump to have his ego stroked and appear at the Super Bowl yesterday.
Jeez, I was just being generous.
And Trump picked the Chiefs before the game. So wrong again, Donald.
Would have been more amusing if he placed a bet on him and lost some money. But it probably wouldn't have made a dent because that'd be like just a drop in the bucket, probably.
Well, he did get a visit from Patrick Mahomes' family in the booth because apparently Patrick Mahomes' wife and family members are megas. So it was one more reason to root for the Chiefs yesterday. And the thing about it is the big controversy last week at the Super Bowl came when the NFL announced it would remove the End Racism slogans that had been stenciled on the end zones since 2021. Right. There was a thought that because Trump was coming to the game, the NFL wanted to avoid making Donald upset. And my thinking is, if you're not a racist, why would you be upset with end racism in the end zones? But nevertheless, Trump was there. And Trump actually has a very interesting history when it comes to football.
Oh, yeah?
He played football as a student at a New York military academy, as a New York businessman in the early 1980s. He owned the New Jersey Generals football team. That was a team in the United States Football League. Trump then sued the NFL. He pushed the USFL to sue the NFL to try and force a merger. The USFL won the court case, but only won $3. So they were forced to fold. During his first term in office, Trump took issue with players kneeling during the national anthem to protest social or racial injustice. Trump insisted that players stand for the national anthem and called on team owners to fire anyone who took a knee. Basically, the NFL blackballed Colin Kaepernick after that, so Trump did get his way. So it's been a interesting relationship between Donald Trump and the NFL over the years. But I just get disappointed all the time. I mean, yesterday, before going to the Super Bowl, Donald Trump played golf with Tiger Woods. Why is Tiger Woods playing golf with Donald Trump? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
But people still kowtowing to Donald. The time is 8:24. We're going to get the latest when it comes to the Super Bowl and the other news going on. Some big tariffs being put into place again by Donald Trump. Find out the details on that and a whole bunch more. Then we'll come back Monday morning, the day after the Super Bowl. Not a national holiday, despite many people wishing it was. Chilly start here in north central Wisconsin, 3 degrees above zero. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. And welcome back, Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. In my opinion, yesterday, the best part of the day was not the Super Bowl. Yesterday, before the Super Bowl, spent some time watching on ABC, the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Philadelphia 76ers. But it was not about the basketball game yesterday. It was about Hubie Brown. Hubie Brown was a longtime coach in professional basketball, and then a longtime broadcaster in professional basketball. He was not like John Madden. He was not a funny guy. He was a guy that tried to explain the game to the viewers. And he said his motto when it came to broadcasting was not to underestimate the IQ of the viewer. And at the age of 91, and he had continued to broadcast on a regular basis through last year. Mm-hmm. And he had one final game yesterday, this year. And it was a celebration of Hubie Brown. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful broadcast. I tip my cap to ABC and ESPN for the way they handled it. It was a day full of tributes to Hubie Brown from across the NBA. Hubie had a very tough offseason. His longtime wife, they'd been together for more than half a century, passed away last summer. And then one of his sons passed away as well after that. So it was really some really tough times. And after that, Brown decided that the wear and tear of travel was too much to be able to continue. And it wasn't because his mind has slipped. If you listen to Hubie yesterday during the game between the Bucks and the Sixers, he was just as sharp as ever. But it was just so wonderful to see Players from both teams approaching him to shake his hand, to say thank you for everything he had done for professional basketball over the decades. He received a standing ovation during the opening timeout at Fiserv Forum, as a video honored him aired on the scoreboard. And Brown considered it fitting that he was in Milwaukee for his final game as a broadcaster. His first NBA coaching job was an assistant with the Bucks back in the 1972 through 1974 seasons. Brown said on yesterday's telecast, "When I came here to Milwaukee and Larry Costello, who was the coach of the Bucks at the time, I received a master's degree and a doctorate's degree in basketball in 2 years." And that launched an illustrious career, both on the bench and behind a microphone. Brown coached 15 years with the ABA's Kentucky Colonels, the NBA's Atlanta Hawks, New York Knicks, and Memphis Grizzlies. He won an ABA title with Kentucky in 1975, voted the NBA Coach of the Year in 1978, and again in 2004. He then spent 35 years as a national TV and radio analyst, covering 18 NBA Finals, inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2005. But it was moving as somebody in the business, as somebody who has broadcast games for a long time, somebody that, frankly, there are some guys I really enjoy listening to, and there's some people that I really don't enjoy listening to. But Hubie Brown was always one I always loved listening to. He was somebody, again, who is prepared to the hilt and always took seriously his role. And the way that the network handled it yesterday, pitch perfect. During the course of the broadcast, they brought in former partners of Hubie Brown to talk about Brown's impact on them. They had words from coaches and players, the commissioner, and they weaved it so expertly. It didn't take away from the game. It was so human. I thought it was a wonderful way to show respect to somebody who has put a lifetime into his work and loved his work and was able to do it. Again, to be 91 and still be as sharp as Hubie Brown is, to be able to explain the intricacies of NBA basketball at the level that he did yesterday. I wish he was continuing. There are some people you see and they've lost it. They aren't the same as they were. Mm-hmm. And I think we've been very lucky in Wisconsin. The late Bob Uecker did it until 90 years old and was still so sharp right to his final broadcast during the first round of the playoffs in October. And to see somebody like Hubie Brown get the respect that he deserves. And it's wonderful, I think, to show it when people are alive. Yeah. So often we hear the wonderful things about somebody else after they passed on. And I think something that we can take away from what we saw yesterday is if there's somebody in your life out there right now that is, older and has done wonderful work in whatever field they're in, show that love and that care and say to them, hey, you've been wonderful. You've been somebody that has done the work in a very high way. And I think sometimes we wait too long to say it. And for everybody to say it to Hubie Brown yesterday during that broadcast. And I love the way they finished it. So often, there's such a rush to get off the air, to get to the next thing. But they allowed Brown and his broadcast partner yesterday, play-by-play legend Mike Breen, to say everything that needed to be said. before concluding the broadcast. And to hear Hubie Brown get emotional, talk about his father. It always moves me to hear somebody that is older, and in this case, 91, talk about their father. Talk about somebody that was important to them 7, 8, 9 decades ago. It was exceptionally moving hearing Brown talk about that. And just to finish up 6 decades in professional basketball, and my thought was, it's not that hard to do the right things. And ABC, ESPN, all the people involved in that broadcast did the right thing yesterday. So that was my highlight of the weekend. The fact that they were able to show the proper respect, the proper love to somebody. And I think that what I took away from it as well is, let's do that to the people in our lives, to show that love and respect. Don't wait till a funeral.
No.
Say it when they're still with us.
Yeah.
It's wonderful hearing wonderful things at a funeral. But at the same time, they're gone. And perhaps they're able to hear it. There's a lot of mysteries out there. But that was my highlight of the weekend. So I wanted to share that with you because, again, I just thought it was 3 hours of watching that broadcast that flew right on by. And thanks to Hubie Brown for giving me a lot of joy over the years. And I found something else, finally, one thing very cool that kind of connected me as well.
Okay.
His first broadcast was in 1981. He had been fired by the Atlanta Hawks as their coach. And back then, the USA Cable Network covered NBA games. So they asked, hey, Hubie, you want to come in and do a broadcast? And he worked with a man named Eddie Doucette. And I don't know how many of you out there know who Eddie Doucette is. Eddie Doucette was the original radio voice of the Milwaukee Bucks when the Bucks started as a franchise in 1969. Actually, 1968. Eddie Doucette worked for the Bucks in their promotions and also did the radio broadcast. Mm-hmm. And when I was 8, 9 years old, that's when I first started to think, hey, I want to be a broadcaster. I want to be somebody that broadcasts sports. And back during those days in the late 1970s, I listened to the Bucks, and I listened to the radio broadcast with Eddie Doucette. And when the Bucks were on the West Coast, when they would play a late game on a school night, my dad would used to record the Bucks games after I'd gone to bed to get up early to go to school the next day. And then when I'd wake up in the morning as I got ready to go to school, I would listen to the tape recording, the audio tape of the previous night's Bucks game with Eddie Doucette. But during the broadcast yesterday, showing Hubie Brown in 1981, during his first broadcast, they showed a picture of him with Eddie Doucette. And I thought, hey, that's the guy that got me into it. And it was the first guy that Hall of Famer Hubie Brown worked with. Mm-hmm. So life is this big circle. We're all connected in a number of ways.
It's a small world after all.
Yes, it is. But I hope at least a few of you had an opportunity to watch that broadcast yesterday, because it was special and it was human. And it's easy to sit here and to get angry, to get into a point of complaining a lot. And sometimes I've done that. And sometimes it's important to call out things that are not right. But at the same time, it's, I think, right to be able to point out the good things that are going on, the things that touch us in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Because even during times of trouble, there are many things out there that touch us in a positive way. And I was truly touched yesterday by that broadcast. And I was touched by Hubie Brown and this 91-year-old man who had done so much for so many others, getting the proper send-off. So I give a major salute to everybody involved in that broadcast yesterday. So my highlight of the weekend. Time is 8:48. We're going to talk a bit about those commercials. I want to hear what Ian liked. We're going to talk about some Super Bowl commercials. Maybe what did you like out there? What was your favorite Super Bowl commercial? 715-382-9297. Let us know. Call or text us. And we'll talk about that coming up. Time is 8:48. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
Said the fight to make ends meet keeps a man up on his feet, holding down his job, trying to show he can't be bought. Who takes every kind of people to make what life's about, yeah.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know what to feel. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what to feel.
Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO. Online at WXCO.FM. Mobile devices and Alexa by searching WXCO. And on the Civic Media app. Time is 8:52. Pleasant start here in North Central Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Start of the new work week Monday morning, February the 10th. Everybody back at it after spending last evening hanging out and watching the Super Bowl. And, of course, during the Super Bowl, there is the game, and then there is the commercials. And a lot of commercials that were debuted and premiered during the game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite commercial?
Well, let's see. I actually had a couple of favorites, actually. First one that comes to my mind was there was a Muppets commercial for Booking.com. I really enjoyed that one. It's been on a while since we've seen the Muppets on like in a TV commercial in the recent years. So it was nice to see them back on the screen. And then, let's see, some of the other highlights. Well, there was one for Hellman's Mayonnaise with When Harry Met Sally reference. You got the original.
Yeah, Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
A great callback to that movie.
The one that was my favorite, hands down, was the Nike ad with the women athletes.
Yeah.
When it says, basically, you can't win, so win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about outspoken athletes. Who's who? Caitlin Clark, Sha'Carri Richardson. Some of the most famous and the most decorated female athletes. And sometimes there's pushback when they get, in the eyes of some folks, either too outspoken or too big. And the whole point was, well, you can't win, so win. And that's what these people do. These women athletes do. So I agree that it was, I thought, a very powerful spot.
See, that was another thing I liked about a lot of these commercials was that a lot of them were very inspirational, and they were about bringing people together. Like there was a commercial with athletes and coaches talking to the kids and players saying that I am somebody, teaching kids that they are not undervalued, that they are somebody and that they do matter, no matter who they are or what they look like. And there was a lot of inspirational ads in this Super Bowl, and my mom and I were talking about that is a really important thing to be reminded of, especially now. There was even that commercial with I think it was with Tom Brady and a Snoop Dogg about the hate commercial. Oh, talking about the reasons that we hate. The reasons that we hate people are just as stupid as they sound. I think that's a very important message to take away, because there's a lot of things that people say, but when you hear it, it actually sounds kind of silly.
I found one of the more interesting commercials as well. The one where they put the face of seal on a seal. They had a Mountain Dew spot. It was an odd commercial. But using the song Kiss from a Rose, Kiss from a Lime for Mountain Dew. Sometimes I think you overthink it. And I think maybe Mountain Dew overthought it. You mentioned Tom Brady. I thought the other one that was interesting with him was
Duracell one.
The Duracell one. Yep. I mean, I think maybe he was better in his commercials than he was in terms of his Super Bowl broadcast yesterday as well.
There.
And also another one that was sort of weird was the commercial where all the mustaches were tore off the face.
Yeah, the Pringles one. Also, the eyebrow, the one with the Little Caesars, that was weird too.
Yeah, Eugene Levy having the... But it was like ripping off all the mustaches. It was like, it was almost painful at times because, like Andy Reid and James Harden and others, Nick Offerman. So,
but I like how the very first commercial that they played at the start of the Super Bowl, after the first kickoff was about to get underway, was they showed the Disney character Stitch running across the field and just causing all sorts of chaos. I thought that was. I thought that was really awesome. I thought the movie trailers that they have for the Super Bowl were entertaining as well. I mean, they had one for Lilo and Stitch, and they had one for the newest Marvel movie coming out, the Thunderbolts, which after the Super Bowl was over, it said they had the newest trailer online, and I got to watch it before I went to bed. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks so good.
Coming up, we got another hour to go.
Mm-hmm.
We will be joined by Civic Media Sports Director Jimmy Kuska at 9:21. Talk about from the pros right to the high school level. And yesterday, high school hockey had their playoff brackets released. Well, let you know that some of our area teams high seeds as they start their road to the state tournament next week with the playoffs. So we'll discuss that as well. But that's the comp here in hour number 2. The time is 8:58. Glad you could be with us. Chad Holmes Show, 98.9 WXCO.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.